Okay, welcome to Sustainable News. I had a great conversation with Wei Xiong, and he is researcher at NREL for molecular biology, and that's the National Renewable Energy Laboratory in the US. First, however, some other news, and some is negative and some is positive, as usual. And if you like this program, 2 buttons there, like and subscribe. Thank you. Now, China shuts factories, rations electricity as heat wave stifles the economy, and we're talking about Sichuan province, home to more than 80 million people. And they announced last Monday factories in 19 cities and prefectures would halt operations until, they said last Saturday, to reserve electricity for use by the people. So these temperatures, high temperatures, have left nations around the world struggling this summer. Heat is sparkling fires in Britain, power grid shutdown in Iraq, more than 1,000 deaths in Portugal. So really bad news, but there's some good news as well. Okay, first, adventure.com is talking about commuter trains in Spain, and they will be free in 2 months' time in September, and this is for a total of 4 months, promoting the use of collective public transport. It is safer, more reliable, cheaper, and more sustainable than the private vehicle, according to Transportation Minister, that is Raquel Sanchez. And the government can afford all of this thanks to a temporary bump in taxes for oil and gas companies. In other news, Scotland is pressing on with a deposit return scheme. Consumers will pay a small deposit on their drink cans, their bottles. They get it back when they return it for recycling. Recycling rates go up, littering goes down, and consumers are not out of pocket. Has been done in Germany for over 30 years, and recycling rates for plastic bottles are at over 98%. I was in the Netherlands 3 years ago during King's Day. A lot of teenagers were picking up plastic glasses there. Turned out there was a €1 deposit on those as well. Okay, Wei Xiong is researcher molecular biology at NREL. He had an article in phys.org. Not just beer and bread, microbes can ferment carbon dioxide to make fuel too. And they're talking about turning waste gases like CO2 into sustainable fuels, biofuel. Sounds excellent. Can you explain?
Yeah, so gas fermenting bacteria is a special species of bacteria, or groups of bacteria, I should say. It's anaerobic and mostly acetogenic bacteria. So this bacteria can grow in energy poor environments near the very thermodynamic limit of life. So that means the organism can utilize hydrogen or carbon monoxide as the reductant to convert CO2 into the acetate. So in such a poor energy environment, gas fermenting bacteria has evolved some specific or unique pathways for CO2 reduction. So the most well-known pathway for this is the Wuyang-Dao pathway. Is founded or discovered a few decades before. So this pathway is the most energy efficient pathway for CO2 reduction and acetyl-CoA synthesis. And it has a very high energetic efficiency in terms of ATP production. ATP is the currency for biosynthesis. So if this pathway is energy efficient, that means it can save ATP or energetically economic for the biosynthesis. And this organism can also grow on different substrate, including as what I've just suggested, the hydrogen, CO2, and the CO. And it can also grow on some other substrate, such as the organic substrate, like the sugar from the lignocellulosic biomass or something like that. So this can make the organism a very attractive organism for a renewable production of biofuels and biochemicals. In addition to acetate, the gas fermenting bacteria can also produce fuel-like molecules such as ethanol, which has 2 carbons, and also a native product called the 2,3-BDO. And since the organism can be genetically modified, so we just modify the organism, and it can be installed with new pathways, so it can be utilized to produce some value-added product or the biofuel molecules such as the isopropanol, as I mentioned, or 3-hydroxybutyrate, which is the precursor for bioplastics. And beyond this, in our newly reported papers, we are interested in reshaping the metabolism of the organism. And we would like to, expand the biosynthetic potential of the organism, not only relying on the Wei-Xiong pathway, as I just mentioned, but also some new pathways that could be used for Acetyl-CoA synthesis from CO2. So this is the information I have so far. Yeah.
Designing new CO2 fixation avenues in bacteria to help them synthesize key biofuel precursors. Is there more to it?
Yes, for biofuel production. So first we need to generate some precursors. Acetyl-CoA is a principal precursor for biofuel molecules. For example, if we want to produce ethanol, so we need to produce acetyl-CoA first, and acetyl-CoA will be generated, will be utilized to generate ethanol by another enzyme. And so acetyl-CoA is the precursor for ethanol, and it can also the precursor for some other molecules such as the isopropanol, butanol, and even longer chainless and energy intensive fatty acid. And beyond this, acetyl-CoA is a key 2-carbon building blocks for biosynthesis. It can also participate in many important biochemical reactions, such as the synthesis of protein, carbohydrate, and lipid metabolism. So, so here I just say, redesigning a pathway for CO2 reduction and acetyl-CoA synthesis means that this could be a new way to not only produce biofuel, but also to construct life. So this is the key role for the synthetic biology. And, the native Wei-Xiong pathway in gas fermenting bacteria is a textbook pathway for acetyl-CoA synthesis from CO2. And in our recent work, I think it indicated another possibility that acetyl-CoA synthesis can also be achieved by another pathway from the same C1 substrate. So this could be a novelty of this work.
Okay, you say this is a carbon negative way for meeting our energy and environmental demands. I've heard about the factories in California that capture CO2. Do you think that your solution is a better solution for climate change?
Yeah, I think this is a key approach to achieve decarbonization. The traditional way for biofuel production is from some organic compound as the feedstock, for example, from sugar as the feedstock. However, if you use sugar, that means the biofuel could be produced, but at the same time, you will release CO2 into the atmosphere. So this is a carbon positive way for the bioproduction. So to address the climate change, we hope that the carbon CO2 will not be released, but resolved or assimilated by the system. So this is why we choose some carbon negative pathway, as I mentioned here. We use gas fermenting bacteria, so no CO2 will be released during this process. Reversibly, the CO2 could be, assimilated into the pathway for the biofuel production. So I think this is a very important area for, addressing climate change, and it aroused a broad interest among, universities, national labs, and industries. We are collaborating with Shell on this project, and Shell is a oil and gas company in the world, and it has invested a very big research and development area, which is called the SKY scenario, and this is the a new research and development area that support the decarbonization research as what we did here. So hopefully, with Shell's support, we could just generate some new technology for carbon capture or gas fermentation that can just move things forward toward a new stage for the technology. So I hope that syngas fermentation will represent a new approach for CO2 utilization and removal.
Okay, how far away are we actually from making this a reality?
I should say we're still in an early stage for the development, and we have a TRL between 3 to 5, I should say. We still have a long way to go towards the industrial application of the whole approach. But I would say we'll collaborate with the industrial partners such as Shell. You might know that the LanzaTech is another giant in the area. And hopefully that our research, our effort could just move the research forward to the practice.